The human named Aaron never imagined that his quiet life on a farming outpost would end with him standing inside a glowing hall on an alien starship while elders of another species debated his fate. He had been lifted from his home without warning, placed before towering figures with silver skin patterns, and told that he was required to marry a girl he had never met. The hall hummed with soft power, and every breath carried the strange metallic scent of the alien vessel. Aaron stood firm, though confusion stormed within him. The alien council circled around him in a slow and deliberate arc. Their movements were graceful, almost ceremonial, and their eyes glowed with soft blue light. The one who seemed to lead them spoke in a steady voice, channeled through a translator plate mounted near the ceiling. He explained that the union was necessary for reasons tied to survival. Aaron's mind raced as each word echoed across the room. He wondered why humans would matter to such an advanced species. Before he could speak, guards escorted a young alien woman into the chamber. Her appearance was unlike anything he had seen. Her skin shimmered faintly like polished stone, and her dark hair coiled softly behind her shoulders. Her eyes had a depth that suggested hidden knowledge or hidden fear. She stopped beside him without meeting his gaze. Aaron could sense unease drifting from her like quiet waves. The elder continued the explanation. Their people, called the Ilari, faced a genetic collapse. Over centuries, their biology had grown fragile, and traditional bonds no longer produced healthy offspring. Their society lived in fear of fading into nothing. A rare compatibility had been discovered between Ilari and humans. Only one human matched their princess. That human was Aaron. His breath caught at the word princess. He had not expected such a title. The girl beside him remained still, though her shoulders tightened. Aaron felt a strange mixture of disbelief and reluctant curiosity. He had grown up hearing distant tales of alien dynasties, but never imagined being pulled into one. He asked why he had been chosen without consent. The elder answered that the situation was urgent. The royal line would end without this union. Aaron refused to accept that as justification. His voice echoed off the metallic walls as he argued that choice mattered. His words drew a quiet silence across the hall. The princess finally turned to him. Her voice sounded soft, almost brittle, though the translator reshaped it into clear human speech. She introduced herself with the simple name Lyra. She apologized for the forced summoning and admitted she had opposed it. Her people had insisted that this was the only path. Aaron studied her expression. Her eyes carried a shadow of loneliness and resignation. He realized she suffered pressure far greater than his own. The elders gestured toward a ceremonial chamber. Aaron walked alongside Lyra, through passages lined with crystalline lights. As they moved deeper into the vessel, she explained her people's desperation. Ilari numbers had fallen sharply, and their line of rulers was weakening. Without an heir, factions might break apart. Her role as princess carried responsibility heavier than her own wishes. She said she had never wanted to pull a human into this. Aaron listened silently. Her voice trembled at times, though she tried to hide it. When they reached a circular room filled with glowing symbols, Aaron paused. The chamber felt sacred. Lyra stepped to the center. Her hands hovered over a sphere that pulsed like a living heart. She explained that once they touched the sphere together, the bond would form. It would connect their families and trigger a recognition protocol within the Ilari system. Aaron hesitated. He felt the weight of choice pressing on him. He thought about the lonely years Lyra described, the crumbling state of her people, and the fear that filled their halls. Instead of stepping closer, he asked Lyra what she wanted. Not what her people needed, but what she wished personally. She stared at the sphere. She admitted she wanted freedom. She had been raised to serve her people, not to choose her future. She wanted someone who would see her as a person rather than a symbol of hope. Aaron understood then that the truth behind the forced marriage was not malice, but desperation, layered with tradition. Still, desperation did not erase the importance of consent. Aaron took a slow breath. He said he would not bind himself without a real bond between them. He offered another path. He suggested that he stay among the Ilari for a time to learn about their ways and to let them learn about him. If they still believed the union was necessary, and if he and Lyra came to trust each other, they could revisit the decision. His words surprised the guards and elders. Lyra's expression softened, and a faint spark of relief lit her eyes. The council debated the suggestion. Aaron and Lyra stood in silence, while voices murmured across the chamber. Their decision came with reluctance, but also with recognition of Aaron's integrity. They agreed to give him time. Lyra escorted him to a suite prepared for him. The room shimmered with translucent walls and quiet lights that responded to motion. Aaron felt like he had stepped into an elegant green dot. The following days he explored the Ilari vessel under supervision. He studied their language and learned how their crystalline technology resonated with their bodies. The humans had long admired Ilari craft, yet never understood its deeper mechanisms. Aaron observed how energy flowed through the ship like a soft river. He grew fascinated by how their tools responded to thought patterns and emotional states. He realized their science came from harmony rather than domination. Lyra often visited him during his studies. Their early conversations were formal and cautious. She kept her posture perfect, as though always under scrutiny. Aaron made a point to speak to her not as a princess, but as a person. Slowly her shoulders relaxed. She shared stories of her youth, describing how she spent her childhood reading old texts and training for leadership. She revealed that she sometimes hid in quiet chambers to escape pressure. Aaron listened with patience. Over time, they developed a fragile camaraderie. Lyra laughed softly when Aaron tried speaking Ilari phrases and mispronounced nearly every vowel. Aaron found her laughter refreshing. Each moment broke another layer of distance between them. He discovered she admired how humans adapted quickly to challenges. She said humans changed paths by choice, while Ilari followed tradition with heavy resolve. Aaron replied that strength also came from understanding when to change course. One day, Lyra brought him to a grand observation deck. Before them stretched a starfield, unlike any Aaron had seen. Nebulae drifted like vast painted curtains. The deck resonated faintly with their footsteps. Lyra explained that this was her favorite place. She came here when she felt trapped by duty. Aaron sensed her longing for something beyond tradition. The view filled him with a quiet determination. He wanted to help not because he had been forced, but because he understood the fear that haunted her people Dot as days turned into weeks. Aaron worked alongside Ilari scientists to learn more about their genetic collapse. He observed holographic projections of their biological changes. He discovered that human physiology provided a rare, stabilizing pattern for Ilari DNA. The match between him and Lyra was indeed rare. Without intervention, their species might fade within generations. The truth hit him harder than before. He realized the request for marriage came from a need rooted in survival. One evening, Lyra entered the lab where he studied. She stood in silence for a moment before saying she appreciated his willingness to stay. She admitted she had grown to trust him. Aaron felt a quiet warmth. He told her that trust mattered more than ceremony. Lyra stepped closer and asked if he believed humans and Ilari could build a shared future. Aaron thought about the lessons he had learned on the ship. He answered that any future built on respect stood a chance. Their bond deepened through shared conversations and moments of calm. Lyra invited him into Ilari cultural rituals. She taught him slow dances performed for reflection rather than celebration. Aaron shared tales of human perseverance. The more they spoke, the more he saw that beneath her regal training stood a young woman burdened with fear of failing her people. Lyra confessed she feared becoming a ruler who could not save her world. Aaron replied that leadership did not mean carrying everything alone. One quiet rotation cycle, the council summoned Aaron and Lyra back to the ceremonial chamber. The elders stated that the agreed time had passed. They asked whether the bond would be completed. Lyra turned to Aaron. Her eyes reflected uncertain hope. Aaron took her hands gently. He said he was willing now, not because of obligation, but because of understanding. He respected her strength and cared for her path. Lyra's breath trembled with relief. Together, they stepped toward the glowing sphere. When their hands met its surface, a warm light enveloped them. The bond recognized the shared intent between them. Energy spiraled through the chamber as the Alery symbols flared. Aaron felt a pulse run through him. Lyra felt it too. Their connection registered across the vessel, signaling a new chapter for the Alari. The elders bowed deeply. Guards knelt in respect. Lyra held Aaron's hands as the glow faded. She whispered that he had given her people hope. Aaron replied that they had given him a new purpose. After the ceremony, they walked along the observation deck. Stars shone brightly against the endless dark. Lyra leaned lightly against Aaron. He felt the weight of the journey they would face together. Their bond was not a perfect solution, but it was a beginning built on.